الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على من اجتباه وآله وصحبه ومن والاه. وبعد, continuing with our Tafsir sessions and explaining Tafsir Juz al-Dariyat, this chapter, the 27th chapter, and the goal is to ponder and reflect on the meanings of the Quran and to give time for it. For verily, those who do not give time to ponder over the meanings of the Quran and leave it without any contemplation, you fear that they may fall into the verse, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا, that the messenger complains about them on the Day of Judgment, that they abandon the Quran. And Muqayyim, he mentioned that there's various of ways to abandon the Quran. From it is not to ponder over its meanings and contemplate and reflect upon what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed of great meanings behind these words. So it is befitting and deserving for the Muslims to give time for this blessed book. If there are people out there giving time to study novels and novels of books and books of different various of literature to understand in length its meanings, then with greater preference the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there's no comparison. So let us continue from where we left off. We're going to ask the brother to begin, inshallah. Tafaddal.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن المتقين في جنات ونعيم فاكهين بما آتاهم ربهم ووقاهم ربهم عذاب الجحيم كلوا واشربوا هنيئا بما كنتم تعملون. Indeed, the righteous will be in gardens and pleasure, enjoying what their Lord has given them, and their Lord protected them from the punishment of hellfire. They will be told, eat and drink in satisfaction for that which you used to do.
So these ayats that were recited, it is another matla', another beginning of a portion from the surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after speaking regarding the recompense and the result of the disbelievers of what their actions have led them to, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks on the contrast, the outcome and the recompense of the good doers. And this is to show that this book is Kitab Targhib wa Tarhib. The book of Allah is a book that balances in its call between khawf wa raja, between fear and hope. And that the greatest of admonition occurs by way of that. At a time instilling hope in those who are of its people, and as well instilling fear for those who deserve it. And this is the balance that occurs, that this book is Kitabun Mathani, as we mentioned. It's a book of pairs. And these ayats that were recited, we mentioned that it was the reason for Jubair ibn Mut'im of the Surah Tur in its entirety to have a great impact upon him where he embraced Islam. So the book of Allah, we even find now online where disbelievers, when they come and they read or they listen to the book of Allah that's available for them online, some of them announce their Islam based upon that. This book is great in its wordings. Fussilat ayatu. It's amazing how the alignment of its words and how they perfected in its meanings. So the next portion that we wanted to take is إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَالنَّعِيمٍ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the muttaqun, the pious, the righteous ones, those who are God conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at all times. They would adhere to His taqwa fi sirr wal alan. They were God-fearing of Allah in secret and in public. هم الذين اتقوا أمره ونهيه. They adhered to his commandments and they refrained from his prohibitions. These are the muttaqun. إن المتقين في جنات ونعيم. That they are in gardens. And some of them have said the reason why it was pluralized, the word jannat, is because it's in reference to the people, the amount of people. That in reference to each muttaqi, each pious person, he's in a garden of his own. And because of their levels, jannat ba'duha fawqa ba'd. One garden is above the other. So some of this is the meanings that's been mentioned in إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ. And the next meaning is, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, that there are a number of jannat. وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتَانِ. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahmaan, for those who are God-fearing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will have jannatan. And as well, Allah said, وَمِن دُونِهِمَا جَنَّتَانِ. So it's established for them gardens, not only one garden, but of various of types. And they would have various of sights therein that is pleasing to the eyes. And these gardens would have within it qusur, it would have castles, and it would have that which is adorned in its decoration, and with rivers that flow underneath. So this is the meaning of fi jannat. The word wa na'im, along with them, fi husn al-makan, lahum rahatun nafs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala combined with being in a pleasant dwelling place, that they have the comforts of mind and the inner peace, and that they're in bliss, which is contrast to the worldly life. The worldly life, a person could be in a pleasant home yet be depressed. He could be taken by grief and sadness. He could have so much around him of the worldly life, of what is pleasing to the eye, yet not be in bliss of his inner self. So this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows that they have both affairs in the next life. إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَنَعِيمٍ. And this word that comes after فَاكِهِينَ, the word فَاكِهِينَ, it is the word that they are in a state of pleasure, enjoying what their Lord has given them. And it's similar to the word وَإِذَا انْقَلَبُوا إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ انْقَلَبُوا فَكِهِينَ. That the word fakihin is that they would return in a state of joy and pleasure. Same thing with here. That they have all what amuses them and brings them joy. بِمَا آتَاهُمْ, based upon what Allah has given them. And this word بِمَا آتَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ is to show that all of this enjoyment is a gift from Allah. And it's a عطاء غير مجذوذ. عطاء غير مجذوذ. That it's a gift or something bestowed for them from their Lord that will not be cut off. So this is the meaning, and it's as well indicates that they will not be removed. It's a gift from the Lord that is constant. وَمَا هُمْ عَنْهَا بِمُخْرَجِينَ. They will not be removed from it. وَوَقَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ عَذَابَ الْجَحِيمِ. Either Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted them salvation from the adhab al-jahim, the painful torment that was previously described for the evildoers. Allah mentions that He has protected them from that affair. Yani that من زحزح عن النار وأدخل الجنة فقد فاز. That whoever is kept away from the hellfire and brought into paradise, then he has achieved the ultimate success. So this is the success that is a gift and as a grace from their Lord. And this is to show that all of this is tafaddulan. Allah repeats once again that it comes from their Lord. And that entering paradise, it's not due to a person's deeds and actions. The actions are mere reasons to attain the mercy and the grace of Allah. But at the end, it is Allah that enters them through His mercy and His grace. And this ayah, وَوَقَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ عَذَابَ الْجَحِيمِ, is similar to the ayah in Surah Al-Insan, فَوَقَاهُمُ اللَّهُ شَرَّ ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ وَلَقَاهُمْ نَضْرَةً وَسُرُورًا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected them from the evil of that day and granted them radiance and joy. So this is the combination, but vice versa. Instead of فَاكِهِينَ بِمَا أَتَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ وَوَقَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ عَذَابَ الْجَحِيمِ. And the wording after that, كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا هَنِيئًا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ, that eat and drink. This is not a command of taklif. It's not a commandment that it's as similar to a command of this worldly life, but it's a command of takreem, of honor, meaning choose of whatever you like, of food and drink. There are found in for you, all of it hani'an, as a pleasure and with ease and honor for you, for what you used to do. And this wording, hani'an, the scholars of Tafsir, they said it means that there's nothing that will come after this enjoyment, any difficulty. And as well, when a person eats from what is found in Jannah, he will not find any side effect therein of that which is negative. Whereas in the dunya, when a person eats perhaps of the most pleasing of food and the most delicious of foods, he may find that which comes with it of side effects. Or if he were to eat a great amount, or the likes of that, what may come of this worldly life. But the dunya, the next life, doesn't have that. Hani'an. I do so with all ease, with all satisfaction, with all assurity that it will not come to you any harm of doing so. Kulu washrabu hani'an. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala combined for them both between eating and drinking. And this is the bliss that is mentioned here. Bima kuntum ta'malun. And this wording, bima kuntum ta'malun, it is similar to some of the other ayats that have come, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in some of the verses. The brother could remind me, كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا هَنِيئًا بِمَا أَسْلَفْتُمْ فِي الْأَيَّامِ الْخَالِيَةِ. And eat and drink of that which you used to carry out of the days that have passed. So these verses, they resemble one another. And the Quran is called Kitabun Mutashabih. It's a book that resemble one another in its verses. And this is the greatness of it and the eloquence of the Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shares His message in various of ways. And this wording, the kulu washrabu hani'an bima kuntum ta'malun, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala displaying His pleasure for what they used to do. Ar-rida, this is as well a na'im ala na'im, a bliss upon a bliss, that your Lord is pleased of what you have brought forward of good deeds, and He's pleased upon you. So this is another meaning that has been mentioned. So with no further delay, we ask the brother to continue reading. Tafadhal.
متكئين على سرر مصفوفة وزوجناهم بحور عين والذين آمنوا واتبعتهم ذريتهم بإيمان ألحقنا بهم ذريتهم وما ألتناهم من عملهم من شيء كل امرئ بما كسب رهين وأمددناهم بفاكهة ولحم مما يشتهون. They will be reclining on thrones, lined up, and we will marry them to fair women with large, beautiful eyes. And those who believed and whose descendants followed them in faith, we will join with them their descendants, and we will not deprive them of anything of their deeds. Every person for what he earned is retained, and we will provide for them with fruit and meat from whatever they desire.
So these ayats that were recited of Sifatul Jannah, the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concerning what He has bestowed the dwellers and the inhabitants of the people of paradise, these people, they'll be given this bliss. And the more we read about the Jannah, the paradise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised, it increases us in hope. It increases us to aspire in His reward. It increases us to work harder in our deeds. And to remember that this dunya is لا تستقر لأحد بحال. That this dunya, whatever it has of its enjoyment, it's not everlasting. And that it has its ups and downs. Contrast to the akhirah of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for the good doers. The verses that were recited, متكئين, at the beginning of it, متكئين على سرر مصفوفة, that the people of paradise are reclining on thrones that are aligned with one another. And some of them said it means على سرر متقابلين, ay facing one another, that they would be facing one another as one would be on a throne, he'll be facing his companion as well on another throne. And this is done out of mu'anasa, they say, that he will not be alone. It will be a form of comfort, and it will be a state of comfortability that he's able to face his companion in such a positioning. And the wording that we recited, muttaki'ina, some of the scholars, they differed on what does it mean. Does it mean that they're actually reclining, or does it mean they're sitting in a certain position? The majority say it means they're lying down. And some said it means that they're really reclining as kings recline on their thrones. مُتَّكِئِينَ عَلَى فُرُشٍ بَطَائِنُهَا مِنْ اسْتَبْرَقٍ. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, reclining on beds that have lines within it from silk. So this is the meaning. And it is another verse that suits that as well. مُتَّكِئِينَ فِيهَا عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ لَا يَرَوْنَ فِيهَا شَمْسًا وَلَا زَمْهَرِيرًا. That they'll be reclining therein upon thrones that they do not see a burning sun nor severity of the cold. So they would even enjoy the positioning of how they sit, along with a pleasant sight for their eyes and what they enjoy of comfort to their bodies. So here is the meaning, مُتَّكِئِينَ عَلَى سُرُرٍ. So whether it is sururin, beds that are elevated, or thrones, all of that has been affirmed. And it shows that they won't be sitting on the ground, but rather they'll be elevated from it. لَيْسُوا جَالِسِينَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ. And that they'll be facing one another, عَلَى سُرُرٍ مُتَقَابِلِينَ. And this doesn't negate that people who are more superior than them, of good deeds and a higher level, would not be in that position, meaning that they'll be above them. That is correct as it comes in the hadith of Abi Sa'id al-Khudri, the hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, إِنَّ أَهْلَ الْجَنَّةِ لَيَتَرَاءُونَ أَهْلَ الْغُرَفِ مِنْ فَوْقِهِمْ. That the dwellers of Jannah will look at those in the upper abodes above them as you look at a shining star which remains in the eastern or western horizon. So you'll see the difference of one level between the other by a person looking to above him of the stars. So it shows that they are in different levels. They are in different levels.